Hello again. Yeah, so this is just gonna be, I think, a short video. Just wanted to talk about two things. So something that happened last night after I made the video, and then I watched Superhuman making the invisible visible today, and and did some at first kind of accidental remote viewing after starting to watch that. But yeah, so I'll get into that in a minute. Just one thing that happened last night had me wondering if anybody else feels like that sometimes too. So when after I recorded the video, I went to the grocery store around shortly before 8 p.m. or something like that. And when I got there, the parking lot was almost completely empty, which was very strange because at that time when I go usually, it's usually the really busy time of the evening. Around 5, usually when you get there around 5 before everybody like gets off of work, I guess. Then it's usually empty. I don't think I even seen it that empty though. But yeah, so I get there, it was already weird. Like the parking lot was all empty and stuff, and so I get into the store, and I walk and walk. There's nobody. I don't see anyone. Not even behind the counters and stuff, where like the meat counter and cheese counter. Nobody. Everywhere. Like the whole thing was empty. Then I go around the corner where I can like see like this long corridor. Nobody there either. I was like, that's so strange. And when I saw that I can't see anyone anywhere, I felt like where, if you've seen The Matrix, it's like where Neo got put into this white room, right? And there was nothing, and he was all by himself. And that's how it felt like. Like that feeling came over me, almost like a message. That's what it felt like. It felt like a message. And I was like, okay, this is so strange. It seemed on purpose. Like, to me, it was like a reaffirmation because I made that video last night talking about what I think MEs are. And it seemed that it was a message saying, yeah, you're right. Like, you're on the right track. There's something to it. I don't know why. It's just the feeling that I got from that moment. And as I kept walking, I was like, there must be people somewhere, I walked in an empty aisle, and all of a sudden there was an aisle, and there were a couple of people, like 4 maybe, like in a cluster too, they're all by each other. And then I kept walking, empty aisle. And then I saw 2 more people, I think. And then I went to the checkout. I was the only one at the checkout. I mean, there were 2 girls at the register working, but nobody was at the register, so I was the only one. And it really feels as if I was, besides like those 6 people or something that I saw, I was the only one in the store. It was very strange. So yeah, that just had me, I don't know, it gave me a weird feeling. And it's like, did anybody else ever have something like that where you feel like something is reaffirming it for you, like it's kind of sending you messages somehow. Another time I had something similar like that happen after my big Mandela shock, my personal one, right, with the European map. And I fell into this hole, and then I started reading the Kybalion, and also kind of like starting to believe that mind over matter, magic and stuff is real, right? Like if mind over matter is true, then magic is true. Like, and it's not even magic, it's just mind over matter. So whatever they do is they're capable of doing because they believe that they can do it, and so they can. So anyways, I was kind of reading books and watching videos and magicians on Netflix and all kinds of stuff. So in that same time frame, after reading the Kybalion and stuff, I was out driving, and it was dark because it was winter, and there was like this, I don't know if it was winter. Anyways, it doesn't, I have no more concept of time. Just as a side note, my time is super off. I I cannot tell you what day it is of the week ever, what the number of the day it is. I can't tell you. I can't tell you the year. Very often I feel like it's 2020 still. And it's really hard for me to grasp that it's already 2021. I don't know. It's very weird. And the energy is just off lately too. Some weird stuff with the energy going on right now. Anyway, so I was driving out and it was dark. And I all of a sudden saw like my light from the car like hit the road, and I saw there's something in the road. And so I slowed down and I drove closer to it, and it was a toad. It's like, oh, weird, like a bit like a big toad. And so then I just swerved around it. And then a few days later or so, I sit in my living room and all of a sudden a scorpion walks across the floor. And in 11 years living here, I haven't seen one single scorpion ever. So that was very random and strange. It felt very random to me. And then I was like, oh, how weird. Like I just saw this toad that I almost drove over. And then now this scorpion all of a sudden in my living room. Well, then a few days later, as I was walking my dog, I walk across over the pavement, like gray colored pavement. And as I step, I realize there's something on the ground. So I step over it, right, my dog too. And then I look and there's a snake on the floor. And and it was very small. So it was like a baby snake. It was probably about like this long, like super thin and this long. And so I took out my phone and I videotaped it a little bit because I didn't know what kind of snake it was and I wanted to see if my friends knew. So then we went home, I posted it, and turns out it was a baby rattlesnake. And I was like, oh my God, I just freaking stepped over a baby rattlesnake. And it didn't move a thing. It wasn't scared. It didn't do anything. And then this feeling started coming over me with like seeing the scorpion, the rattlesnake, the toad and stuff. It felt also not accidental. It felt like it was some kind of sign. I don't know. And so yeah, I'm wondering what you all think. Did you experience something like that where you kind of feel like there someone's tapping on your shoulder and kind of like saying, hey, we're watching you, or yeah, you're on the right track, or maybe don't do this. I don't know. It was very, very strange. Thankfully that all has stopped. Haven't seen anything crazy like that again. And I hope I don't ever again. I mean, stepping over rattlesnake, that was so scary. Like I can't believe I did that. Yeah, and then and then what else I wanted to bring up is that Superhuman documentary. So as I was watching it, there was this right in the beginning is this part about remote viewing, how people are doing remote viewing. And as I was watching it and stuff, all of a sudden my friend texts me. And so we start talking a little bit back and forth. And while we were talking, all of a sudden I had this sense of knowing where he's at and what he's wearing and stuff. And I was like, this is too strange. It's like, but it's like, what the heck, I'm just gonna give it a try. So I told him what I was thinking, what he's doing and what he's wearing. And I said he's sitting at a desk right now and he's wearing like a zip up jacket. And I wasn't sure if it's a hoodie or not, but I felt more drawn for it not to be a hoodie. And that the jacket would be green. Well, and then he texts back and he's like, yeah, I am sitting at my desk and I'm wearing a zip up hoodie. And I was like, oh, no way. And I think he thought it was strange too. And I was like, I told him about this remote viewing thing. And I was like, if he's okay, if I keep trying, And he said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I tried to guess a couple other things and I actually got a lot right, but also some things wrong. So like I knew he was, or I thought he was wearing boots and he was. Then he sent me a picture of the hoodie he was wearing and I thought the hoodie was green, like the color green just came into my mind. but it wasn't. But he was wearing a green T-shirt, and that's exactly the color that I saw. Um, and then he yeah, and then after, so a couple of other things about clothing and stuff, and I saw like a notepad with stripes, but I thought it was a yellow notepad, and there was a notepad but it was with stripes but it was white, so I had the color wrong. And then after a while, we stopped talking for a little bit, and then I had this feeling all of a sudden. I just connected to him again. I felt like, and I could see like car keys, sunglasses, and that he's getting up to go somewhere, like he's ready to drive somewhere. And so I texted him that, thinking like, he's gonna like, no. And then he's like, yeah, I'm actually about to go to Home Depot. And I was like, no freaking way. And he said, yeah, car keys, everything, but no sunglasses. I was like, that is so strange. And then, so yeah, and then I asked him, hey, if you're okay, let's try to like have me guess then what you bought at Home Depot. And we haven't done that yet. So tonight I want to contact him again and see if we can like do some remote viewing where I can guess what he bought. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, and I wonder just if from watching that show, right, and the mind over matter, and like seeing the remote viewing, that somehow I was open to the idea. And since we've been friends for like super long time, maybe 15 years or so, no, actually longer than that, maybe 18, I don't know. And he's in Boston though, and I'm in Texas. So we're really far away from each other. But like I said, like really good friends for a very long time. And so maybe I am connected to him somehow because of that. And just because I was looking into the remote viewing and being open to the idea and everything, that it was just like an easy connection, like it just happened naturally because of that. I'm not sure. Because I wasn't forcing it or anything. I was just like, we were just talking, and all of a sudden this came to my mind. I was like, it feels like as if I can tell what's going on with him right now. It was very strange. So yeah, let me know if you haven't seen it already. I think it's definitely a good documentary to get into, because I used to think there's this theory about quantum jumping where you like think what you want the outcome, and then you kind of like jump into that reality. And that's kind of really what I was thinking, how all of this kind of works, until today, until I saw the Superhuman show, documentary, and where they really say instead that it's your mind creating the physical world, the material world. And then, of course, anything that you then think, you don't have to jump into anything or change timeline to get what you want. You just think it, and then you have it, right? Or you can do these things. So now that's really something I want to start focusing on more, to think more in that direction, and also try to practice remote viewing and all those supernatural kind of things that technically aren't supernatural, because we should be able to do these things always, but it was unpurposely perhaps the abilities undermined, or maybe with the fluoride, the calcification of the pineal gland and stuff. Maybe it's all on purpose, I don't know. Or we are here to figure these things out for some reason, to gain that knowledge again. I'm not sure. There's so many theories for everything. But yeah, so definitely want to try to practice these type of things and do more remote viewing for sure. I really enjoy this remote viewing, so it's very interesting and fun, because I always feel well, with this one, the one that I talked about, that guy, the one, the one, so connected with him already. So I always could feel when he was feeling really bad, and when he, like one time he was suicidal, and I could feel that. Also when my best friend killed himself, in that moment I felt like he was dead, like I could feel that he was gone. So I feel like I'm already very connected to people that are close to me in my life. And so I think that will be something, quote unquote, kind of easy for me to get into with the remote viewing and connecting, at least the people that I know. So yeah, I think that'd be cool to kind of practice that. And I believe once you start practicing those things, all the other things like moving objects of your mind or seeing like without anything, like they in that documentary they have like show these people all covered up their eyes in black, and they're able to see everything. And so they come to the conclusion that we see with our consciousness. The consciousness sees things first, then it goes to the eyes and translates it to the brain. But since consciousness sees it first, you don't have to have eyesight to see it. So that's one thing I really would like to practice as well. So yeah, whenever I have some time, I'm gonna try to get more into that kind of stuff and try it out. Yeah, so watch it if you haven't yet, or if you have, let me know what you think. Do you believe in that stuff too? Have you tried any of these things yourself? Has it worked? Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Yeah, I'm keeping it with that for now. And maybe I'll post another video sometime soon. Yeah, here just at the end, a quick update that I obviously like, I don't like cutting my videos or editing them or anything. So I just watch them though, just to make sure like I mentioned everything that I wanted to mention, and that I'm audible and stuff. And when I was rewatching it, I started remembering what I forgot to mention, two things. So, poops it, my dog. I realized that I forgot to mention with all the animals and stuff too. There were two more animals that I saw when I saw first the toad, scorpion, the rattlesnake, and then I saw a black cat another night, and it was in the evening too. And then there was I have a camera in front of my house, and I checked like my recordings, and all of a sudden in one of the recordings, this huge owl sits right in front of my window, on the floor, on the pavement, on the ground, in the light. Like there's like this light from the garage was like shining onto the floor, and this huge owl just sitting there. And that was just so strange, toad, scorpion, snake, black cat, and an owl. And it's just, that's why I really, it was just so weird, and especially so random that this owl is just sitting on the floor in the light in front of my window. And then the recording showed it how it's flying off, right? And all of a sudden just flew away. And talking about owls, and I think they have some kind of spiritual meaning. But yeah, talking about owls, when I got married, that day I was getting married, I was in the winter in Germany. And there was this huge tree, and there were so many owls, and there was like 10 owls at least. The whole tree was covered. It was a big tree, and they were all over the tree sitting there, just sitting, doing nothing, just literally sitting there. And people would come with their cameras and take pictures of it. And as after my marriage ended and everything, and it was a really, really bad marriage, and he didn't love me, not at all. And he even told me that, afterwards as well and stuff. And I always never felt love either, but I was just really young and stupid, and so I just like got into it. Anyways, after I was divorced and stuff, I kept thinking about that tree and the owls, and I was like, maybe it's as if they wanted to tell me something, or if it was a sign, like you're making a mistake, I actually thought of it in a way that like we kind of relive the life over and over again, to see if we learned something from a previous experience and if we're making it better. And that's kind of what it felt like. They're kind of all sitting there watching and seeing if I'm making the right decision. I don't know. It probably sounds super crazy, but it was a very, very strange moment in my life for sure, having that tree for all these owls. Yeah, so I wanted to mention that too because I forgot. And there's one more thing I wanted to say. Oh no, no, forgot about that too. Um, yeah, maybe that's what it was. The owls and the other animals that I missed to mention. Yeah, if I think about it, I'll make another 2-minute video or 1 minute, whatever. Yeah.